Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Vicious765 here, and I'm here to talk to you today about Tekken 7 Fated Retribution. And this trailer came out on the 12th, and it sort of blew up over the internet, and a lot of exciting things happened. A lot of very cool, hype things happened. Like, we got to see Akuma. Not only is he a guest character, but he's a canon. He's a part of the Tekken's franchise. Now, and not only that, but that means that Street Fighter and Tekken share the same universe. Now, does this mean that the shenanigans in Street Fighter Cross Tekken was that actually canon? I don't think so. I think that's like a Tekken tag thing. I think it's non-canon, because, well, there's too many things in that game that happen, and too many things that happen with the characters that, is not like them to actually consider it canon. So let's just say that's not canon for right now, if that's really important to you. But there's a couple of things I want to talk about, and it's going to be a mashup of things that I talk about on my channel. Normally I try to do the mysteries, Tekken theories, and, et cetera, et cetera. And this is going to be a mashup of everything here. Now, I want to talk about something now, and that is the title. So there's an R in every Tekken sequel release in the arcades. There's like in there like little expansions. There's an R. I noticed. So it's Tekken Dark Resurrection, Bloodline Rebellion, and now Fated Retribution, which is fine. Let's talk about the titles, which, I don't know if people notice this, but these titles have a lot to do with the characters that actually show up in the games. Fated Retribution, I will come back to that. So let's go back, all the way back. I'm going to take you back to 2006. Tekken 5, Dark Resurrection. Now, why is this called Dark Resurrection? Now, I have a couple of theories about it. I don't know if the Harada ever said anything about it, or if the Zayabatsu knows about it. But look, Dark Resurrection, when I think Dark Resurrection after playing Tekken 5, I think about Jinpachi and how he was resurrected through dark means. He was resurrected by a demon spirit, and that was a dark resurrection. And not only that, but if we look at Armor King, we didn't know what Armor King's story was. For all we knew, Armor King was dead. So Dark Resurrection could have been, oh man, Armor King's resurrected. And, he has a black jaguar mask. And in most cultures, actually, in a lot of cultures, they consider black, the color of darkness. So Dark Resurrection, that could be for Armor King as well. But then we have Dragunov's ending, which is very interesting, and I will come back to it, in which something is resurrected through Devil Jin's energy. Now, I have a feeling I know what that something is, and I don't think it was ever truly dead. I just think it was slumbering. But I'm going to come back to what I think it is and how it's going to affect the story of Tekken 7. Now, let's go to Tekken 6 Bloodline Rebellion. In Tekken 6 Bloodline Rebellion, we get Lars and Elisa. Those are the two characters that were added. Lars is a Mishima, but he doesn't act like a Mishima. He doesn't try and kill the others. He leaves them be for the most part. He tries to stop them from doing evil things, but if you actually look and see, if you actually were paying attention to Tekken Tag 2 before it came out, Lars and Jin should have like a symbiotic relationship, I think is the word to use for it. I don't think Jin actually gets along with him, but Lars doesn't resent him. And that is a rebellion because the Mishimas they're cursed. They're meant to actually kill each other. They're meant to kill and betray each other, which Lars isn't about that, which brought upon the name Bloodline Rebellion, because he's going against their ideals and he's actually trying to stop them from being bad, if you really think about it, because in Tekken 6, if you go through scenario campaign, Lars faces Jin at the end, and he sort of scolds him. He doesn't he doesn't want to kill him. He just scolds him. Like, he has a friendly fight with Kazuya. Kazuya's not being friendly, but he's like, you got to get past me, and la-di-da-di-da, and let me through. He doesn't want to kill him. They're obviously, he just found out he has a brother. He has no resentment towards him. So that's why it is the Bloodline Rebellion. Now, on to Fated Retribution. Now, we have Fated Retribution, and let's examine the word retribution. All right, if you actually Google retribution, It comes up. The first thing that comes up is punishment inflicted on someone as vengeance for a wrong or criminal act. Now, obviously, we think something's up with Heihachi and Kazumi. A lot of people theorize that Heihachi actually killed Kazumi because Kazuya mentions, he says, "You killed my mother" in the first trailer that we get. So, after hearing that and we see Fated Retribution and we have Kazumi already in the game, well, wouldn't Kazumi come in Fated Retribution, you would think? But we have Akuma, and in the trailer, she mentions that she wants Akuma to actually kill Heihachi if she fails. Now, will Akuma actually be the real final boss in Fated Retribution? I don't know. I honestly don't think so. I just think he's going to be a character. But let's examine this. Remember how I said in Tekken 5 and Dark Resurrection, they actually brought back Armor King. He's the Dark King. As a matter of fact, his nickname in Tekken 2 was the evil armored flower or some shit like that. And he was brought back, and we thought he was resurrected. And then Dragunov resurrects somebody in his ending. And then we have Jinpachi, so that's 3 people. Lars, there's only one Bloodline Rebellion with Lars. He's the person that's rebelling. Now, with Fated Retribution, we got to examine how many characters feel like they've been wrong or feel like they need to exact vengeance on people. And it all comes back to the Mishimas. You have to keep that in mind. First up, we have Miguel. He's not appeared in Tekken 7 yet. We think that Claudio sort of kind of replaced him in the area, I guess, the way he attacks. But Miguel, he still has to exact vengeance on Jin. And, what Jin did was a wrong and criminal act, was it not? I mean, he dropped bombs on the church and killed his sister. And we don't have any closure on that we know of. So we kind of have to see what happens to Miguel. That's what leads me to believe that Miguel actually will make it back in the Tekken 7 Fated Retribution. Leo, we don't know. Well, she's already in the game, but it kind of makes sense that she's in a Fated Retribution because her mother was killed and she believes that Kazuya did it. And we don't know if that's entirely true or not so far. So we're going to see what happens with that. Who else feels like they've been wronged? I would say Kunimitsu. Kunimitsu has scars on her face in Tekken Tag 2. I know it's a non-canon game, but let's face the facts. I mean, she's back and she's aged, and June has aged as well. Now, I'm not saying that right away that June's going to be in the game, which I hope she is, because if this is the game to end the Mishima saga, I feel that June should be in it. She is a very important part of Tekken's story, and she's very elusive. They alluded to her being alive in Tekken 5, and we haven't heard anything since. Moving on from her, because I don't really want to talk about her too much. That's just all I have to say, really. Kunimitsu, she was wronged by 2 people, I guess you could say. She wasn't really wronged by Michelle. She was beat up by Michelle in the first tournament, because she was trying to steal her treasure. And in the second tournament, Yoshimitsu he banned her from the Manji clan. And not only that, but she tried to steal his sword, and she was scarred. She was scarred bad. All she wanted to do was make a sword for her grandfather so he can make a clone before he died. And she was scarred, and he probably died without ever having to, actually make that sword clone. So I think that Kunimitsu could make it back because she feels that she was wrong. How she's going to make it back, how she's going to, return after all this time, not have joined any other previous tournament, we shall see. We're just going to have to see about that. Maybe she felt the need to train. Maybe she felt the need to find a sword that was just as good as Yoshimitsu's, because we could see some new stances from Kunimitsu. You never know. That's what I wanted to say about Kunimitsu. Now, who else? Eliza sort of has... she's underneath a castle made by the Rochfords. Is that how it goes? Now, she could want revenge against the Rochford family just for building a castle over her home where she she fell into a slumber over thousands of years, I guess, or hundreds of years. That could be a, a viable storyline. And I know I'm using Fated Retribution a lot. I'm using Retribution as the theme a lot, but I mean, you can't help it when you come to a game, when you make a game's name like that. Another thing I wanted to talk about, because I'm pretty sure that's all the characters. If I miss any characters, please remind me. I was just thinking heavily about those characters and heavily about the name. But, also Eddie and Christy, but who knows, because Lucky Chloe's in the game, but I mean, Eddie and Christy's grandfather dying technically wouldn't be the Mishima's fault. It's a sickness, and we don't know if the sickness actually was treated or not, if they caught it in time, to be honest. So you never know. I think, as a matter of fact, I interpret Tekken 6's ending as, Christy's grandfather died not because of Jin, but because it was too late and he just quit the Tekken Force and he quit having anything to do with the Mishimas. But he does want vengeance against Kazuya. We do know that. So I don't know what may happen with him because of Lucky Chloe being in the game. But besides all of that, oh shit, you know what? Armor King's retribution against Marduk. Now, how are we going to hash that out with Gigas in the game? Now, only if Gigas happens to be Marduk's alter ego and, he was experimented on by G Corporation, possibly, and Armor King makes it to the game, can I see that being a viable thing? But since this title has came out, Fated Retribution, it makes a lot of sense within the Tekken universe to do something like that. Now, I know I keep saying this, but I think I can finally move on. I think I got all of the revenge things out of the way, the rivalries and whatnot. Now I want to talk a little bit about Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection and Akuma's place in the game. So Akuma in Street Fighter Third Strike, which takes place in the 90s, canon wise, in the Street Fighter universe, I believe, he has gray hair. You guys notice that? He has gray hair. Akuma does not have gray hair in Tekken 7 Fated Retribution. Now, this is just a Namco error where they just, overlooked that because Akuma has red hair in most of the games that he's in and no gray hairs at all. I don't know, but it got me to thinking, he doesn't have gray hair. I'm pretty sure Tekken is past the 90s. The technology they have is too great to, be stuck in the 90s. And if they're in the same universe, then that means that something's going on. Now, I realized when Kazumi was talking to Akuma, this was like several decades before Tekken 7 even occurs. So he would, of course, have red hair then. But later on, it should be gray, right? So what I'm thinking is, I didn't notice this until Tekken 6 or Tag 2, but Heihachi poses very similarly to Akuma. He stands and he looks over his shoulder and he has his back faced towards you. And especially in the Tekken Tag 2, the first two trailers, all you see is Heihachi. He's just standing and you see those, those Japanese characters, the kanji, that's in front of him. And you see his back. He's just a very muscly character, He's standing and he's standing similarly to how, Akuma would stand, which makes me think maybe Heihachi and Akuma, maybe they were friends at one point. Maybe they actually fought together. Maybe they were rivals. How about that? But let me include some of Street Fighter's story here before I go any further. Now, in Third Strike, I believe the ending of Third Strike, Akuma and Oro had fought. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, just skip this part. Oro, apparently he's like the most OP character in Street Fighter's universe. He can beat Akuma. So what happened? What if Akuma was beaten by Oro in the Moscow stage from Third Strike? Because I think they have a Moscow stage. And Dragunov, he's from Russia, right? So what if he found Akuma's body? What if Oro had found a way to purge the Satsuyo no Hado from Akuma and it stops sustaining Akuma and it sort of like kind of diminishes life force or something along those lines. What if that were the case, and then Dragunov found him, and in his Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection ending, he uses the energy from Devil Jin to resurrect Akuma? I was thinking about that, and I was thinking that's actually kind of viable since the universes are together. Either that or somebody had knocked Akuma out cold and stole his energy, and he needed to get the energy back from some sort of evil being. Now, Devil Jin, you're right. Devil Jin, Jin is alive though, so it could have been Devil Jin. But then I go to Azazel, because in Tekken 6's ending, Dragunov, he tries to get Azazel's body for experimentations, possibly to resurrect Akuma. Dragunov, he may have been the plan to actually get Akuma in the game the entire time. Now that I think about it, because his purpose, I did a video about it. I'm not sure what his purpose was, and his ending is very mysterious, so we don't know what happened. People are thinking that Gigas might be Dragunov, the thing that Dragunov is trying to resurrect. I don't necessarily think so anymore, but just think about that. And oh gosh, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, could you guys fathom how epic Tekken's storyline would be from Tekken 5 through Tekken 6 to Tekken 7? Or actually from Tekken 1 to Tekken 7, if this is the case where Akuma was possibly defeated by Heihachi a long time ago. And he lost because, Heihachi, of course, succeeded in possibly killing Kazumi. And Kazumi failed to stop Heihachi. And if Akuma was asked to do this before Tekken 1 and Heihachi's still alive, now that only means that Heihachi could have possibly have won, right? And then time would have just went forward and Akuma would have had the chance to be defeated again by whoever. It could have been Goken. It could have been Oro in Moscow in the 90s. And then Dragunov could have resurrected the body, which hadn't been awoken since being defeated. And then we would have an epic storyline, guys. Now, what do you think about that theory? Because I was lulling it over for quite some time. Also, I think that's about it. I think I pretty much covered everything there. I am still very curious about Akuma's involvement, him and Heihachi, because they seem very similar. If you really think about it, their mannerisms are very similar. Look at Heihachi's down 3 in Tekken Tag 2. It's similar, or it shares similarities to Evil Ryu's kick in Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. I forget which one came out first, but that's not the time to be petty. But it's an attack that, somebody who's using the Satsuya no Hado would use, apparently. So what if Akuma is actually able to do that, and they just didn't give him the move, and him and Heihachi, what if they actually train together? You guys see where I'm going here? What if him and Heihachi were actually close friends at one point? That would make a lot of sense. I mean, look at Heihachi when he stomps on the ground, and you see all that lightning around him. It's like he's powering up, right? Or even when he just stands up and you see lightning just surging all over him. It's a cool sight. It's like he's powering up. It's like he's all powerful. Like he's a very strong man, And Akuma, I got to thinking about Akuma's mannerisms. Akuma is a very strong man. He stomps on the ground and a red aura just flashes all over him. So maybe, just maybe, these guys are bitter rivals, and it's just carried on through decades, like Tekken and Street Fighter. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Catch you later.